very good afternoon. You're watching Lunchtime News on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Yuki Portia. Let's start off with a look at your local news. Now, another 69 employees at the Minuwangoda garment factory have tested positive for COVID-19. This was revealed following the release of their PCR test results this morning.
With the COVID patient reported on day before yesterday on the third evening from a private factory in Minuwangoda, immediately we got the family to get quarantine under Sri Lanka Army, and also those who associated, especially those who came to her residence, was also taken for quarantine. Then thereafter, whoever who had associated her at the factory, especially those who have worked with her in the same building, and also those who have gone in with her in the bus to home when she was traveling in that factory-owned private vehicle, all of them were put under quarantine. And also there had been some people in the factory hostel. They were also tested yesterday. And also there had been some cases where some of them before her had shown certain symptoms. Can't say exactly whether it was COVID type of symptoms, but who felt little ill, we have taken their PCR test also. We are trying to do the contact tracing. We have done the contact tracing. With these results, we will be able to get an idea as to where we came from. We have got information. Some of these workers have gone to other parts of Sri Lanka. Also, there have been people who have come to visit and meet workers at this factory at different days during the last 7 days. So all of them are a little vulnerable as of now. At least from today, we kindly request from all Sri Lankans, try to avoid these gatherings until we find the cause for this, and we try to avoid coming to the society without a mask, keep the social distancing, please behave according to the health authorities' guidelines given, and try to help the society and overall the people of Sri Lanka to eradicate COVID from Sri Lanka. However, His Excellency the President and the Prime Minister took a bold decision to enforce quarantine curfew, initially for 2 police divisions, later Wayangoda also 3 police divisions, and it does not mean that all these COVID, if in case if they are this limits only to 3 police divisions. No, not at all, because there have been people who had come to this area during the last 7 days.
Meanwhile, the curfew imposed for the Minuwangoda, Divulapitiya and Wayangoda areas will be in effect until further notice.
The quarantine laws are in effect, and any person violating these laws will be arrested. Last night, 10 people who violated curfew were arrested by the Minuwangoda police. They will be presented to court in the future. If people are to return to normal, they have to adhere to the prescribed health guidelines, and this is not limited to the 3 areas that are under lockdown. Our intelligence officials are conducting investigations on each of them as we speak. We believe the virus was not present within the community. With the discovery of the new case, we have felt that fear again. We will have to adapt to these measures until the World Health Organization says the pandemic is being eradicated completely from the world. We cannot say if it is a day, 2, a week, a month, an year or 2 years. Until the risk is prevalent, we have to take measures.
The
39-year-old individual from Divulapitiya who is infected with COVID-19 is currently receiving treatment at the IDH hospital in Colombo. She was diagnosed with the virus when she was admitted to the Gampa hospital due to a fever. The Public Health Inspectors Association stated that about 750 relatives of the individual have been placed under self-quarantine. Among them are 600 employees of the garment company where she worked. Meanwhile, the daughter of the COVID-19 patient has been quarantined after it was revealed that she was infected with the virus. Steps have been taken to quarantine 41 students and their family members in the 2nd grade where she studied as well. Meanwhile, 7 COVID-19 cases were reported yesterday. An individual from Divulapitiya, her daughter, 3 people including a sailor from the United Arab Emirates, a Ukrainian sailor and a person from Saudi Arabia were among the infected identified yesterday. Accordingly, the total COVID-19 cases reported in the country stands at 3,402. The number of recoveries is at 3,258. Another 131 COVID-19 patients have been treated at hospitals.
This incidence is common for all the countries in the world. So any country will get this kind of community spread. The contact tracing has been already done and identified contacts already in quarantine places. So people should not get panic. You have to maintain your activities and working conditions compatible with COVID-19 protective measures.
Meanwhile, buses in Colombo were inspected today by police officers. During the inspection, the drivers and the conductors were advised to admit passengers according to the seats that are available. Passengers that were travelling on buses exceeding the seating capacity were asked to get down. The number of passengers at the Polgahavala railway station were reported low compared to the usual days. The temperatures of the passengers was also checked prior to boarding the trains. We observed many people wearing masks at the Golf bus stand and railway station. Meanwhile, buses were inspected since this morning in the suburbs of Putlam and Nathandia. Our correspondent said police had advised the drivers to only board passengers based on the seating capacity. Maravilla police inspected several areas and strictly advised people who weren't wearing face masks. Moving on to some more local news, the coordinating officer to the Speaker of Parliament, Mahinda Yapa Abeywardane, was opened at the District Secretariat in Mathura.
Our country is now expecting the second wave of COVID-19. Now there is no certain information as to how this was originated. As a result, the threat is very high. All of us should provide the support to the government to contain this. What is understood is that the issue is deep to an extent where the origin of this issue is difficult to be identified. The people should provide their support to the government to contain this.
With that, we move on to some more local news. The consideration of petitions filed against the 20th Amendment to the Constitution was taken up for the fourth day today. The petitions were taken up before the five-judge bench consisting of Chief Justice Jayanta Jayasuriya, Purnakala Vihara, Sisir Diabru, Priyantha Jayawardena and Vijit Malalguda.
Petitioners were allowed to present facts through their lawyers in regards to 37 petitions out of 39 submitted against the 20th Amendment to the Constitution. The courts refrained from providing permissions to the petitions as a summons in regards to them not provided to the Speaker of the Parliament. 20 petitions have been filed seeking permission to act as intermediaries, and 3 petitions had not been heard due to the absence of the petitioners and their lawyers.
Tusita Dilum Kumara, the driver of former Minister Partly Champika Ranawaka, appeared at the Colombo Magistrates Court today. This was done by filing a motion through a lawyer.
The suspect filed a motion through a lawyer and produced himself to the Colombo High Court today. High Court Judge Damit Thotawatha issued a warrant to arrest Tushita Damit Kumara due to his failure to appear before the High Court on the 29th of last month. He is the second suspect in the case relating to a road accident that took place in Rajagiriya on the night of February 28 in 2016.
Meanwhile, in some tragic local news, a schoolgirl was killed in a road accident in the Thuppidiyava area on the Anuradhapura Tantirimale road yesterday.
HP Nadisha Kumari Amarasinghe, a 15-year-old schoolgirl. The accident occurred when she was hit by a cab while trying to cross the road near her house. The student who was seriously injured in the accident was taken to the Alaya Patto hospital, but her life could not be saved. The driver of the cab has been arrested in connection with the incident.
Meanwhile, one person died after a fight between two groups in Hainwala roundabout in Mathura.
The brawl took place between two groups under the influence. The victim was a father of three identified as Pradeep Tilakshana Premakumara, a resident of Mirissa. The remains of the deceased currently lie at the Matra General Hospital. According to the police, no arrests were made regarding the incident. However, investigations are currently being carried out by the Veligama police.
Meanwhile, the Colombo Stock Exchange was halted twice during the morning session today. The market was halted at 11:37 this morning for 30 minutes after the S&P SL20 index dropped over 5% from the previous close. The halt was thereafter lifted at 11:37 a.m. Due to the S&P SL20 index dropping over 7.5% from the previous close, the market was halted for the second time at 11:46 a.m. and was lifted at 12:13 p.m. As at 12:20 noon today, the all-share price index had lost 433.18 basis points, down by 7.16% to 5,616.99. The S&P SL20 had dropped 7.84%, 192.35 basis points lower to 2,262.08. And with that, it's a wrap of lunchtime news here on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Yuki Poshia. Take care and good day.